John Newton was a scoundrel. He would describe himself as a foul-mouthed, sexually promiscuous gambler. And he was a sailor who eventually participated in the African slave trade. As a matter of fact, he eventually became a captain of slave ships. But at the age of 23, while he was on a ship, he faced this terrible storm, and he cried out to God. And that began a slow conversion for him, to where he eventually leaves the slave trade, becomes a Christian, becomes a minister, and becomes an abolitionist, lending his voice against the African slave trade. Well, in his study, above the fireplace, his mantelpiece, was written in big letters the words of Deuteronomy 15:15. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Here, a former slave trader remembers that he was once a slave, but that the Lord God had redeemed him. It's important for us to remember what we were, not for the purpose of shame. That's how our enemy would want to twist it. He wants to throw our past in our face for the sake of shame. But no, to do this way, to remember who we were and to remember who we are now, is to remember the glory of God's grace. So when the enemy wants to use your past and throw it in your face, your response is, I know. Isn't God amazing? We must remember who we were. We must remember the bitterness of our slavery in order to experience the sweetness of our redemption.